Hello and welcome to PA Academy. In this video series, we've been looking at angle of elevation and depression. And what we are going to be looking at now is angle of depression. In the previous part of this video, we've covered the difference between angle of elevation and depression. We've looked at different examples under angle of elevation. So if you missed that part of the video series, kindly check the description of this video. You'll find a link to those videos. So right here, the first example we are going to be solving under angle of depression is, it says, the horizontal distance between two towers is 60 meters, and the angular depression of the tower of the first, as seen from the top of the second, which is 150-meter high, is 30 degrees. Find the height of the first. So don't let the text to confuse you. If the question seems confusing when you are saying first, saying second, but just take your time to read the question again so that you understand it proper. So what this question is all about is telling us that there are two towers. There are two towers, one is longer than the other, and we are asked to look for the height of one. So let's look at it again. I know, and again, when you are dealing with angle of elevation and depression, it's always important to understand the question and be able to interpret it in diagram. So you'll be able to read the question and give a drawing, because most all questions under angle of elevation and depression, there's always a diagram to represent it. So let's do that. It said the angle of, so let's look at the question again. The horizontal distance between two towers, that means we have two towers, is 60 meters. So first of all, let's uh let's draw the tower. Let's say we have two towers. So let's draw two towers. So let this be the first tower, and then we don't have idea of what the height of the tower is. Let's just assume we don't know the height of the tower. So let me just draw these two towers. So I want them to be on the same, yeah. So the same top and the same height. So now we've drawn this. This is tower one. Okay, let's first tower, and then second tower. So let's continue. And it's okay. The horizontal distance between two towers is 60 meters. So that means the distance from here to here is 60 meters. 60 meters is also, this will also be, that means from this point to this point is what? Is 60 meters. So let me, okay. So he said, and the angular depression of the top of the first as seen from the top of the second, which is 150-meter high, is 30 degrees. So now, what is, from this point, from this part of the question to this part, let's look at it again. It said, and the angular depression of the top of the first as seen from the top of the second, which is 150-meter high, is 30 degrees. See, find the height of the first. Now, if you just read the remaining part of the question, that the part of the question is letting us to understand that this second tower is higher than this first tower. Let's look at the question again. It says the angular depression. When you are talking about depression, if you have a tower and they say the angle of depression, that means the angle is coming down, and this is the angle. I've explained this in the first part of this video. That means this is the angle. And they said the angular depression of the top of the first as seen from the top of the second, which is 150-meter high. That means this angle here is coming to touch the second tower. So let's bring it into this. So that means we have two towers. One is longer than the other. That means this second tower is longer than the first tower. So let's extend the first tower. So from the question now, we can deduce that the second tower is longer than the first tower, because if you look at it, we are asked to find the height of the first. This is our first tower. And the question says, and the angular depression. Now, when we are dealing with depression, okay, we said the angular depression of the top of the first tower as seen from the top of the second tower, which is 150-meter high. That means this second tower is what? Let's call the second tower, the height of the second tower. That means the height from here down is what? 150 meters. Is 150 meters. And they said that the angular depression of the first as seen from the top of the second, which is 50 meter, is what? 150 meter high is 30 degrees. That means the angle of depression from the top of the first as seen from the second, this is it. The angle of depression, he said, is what? Is 30 degrees. That means right here is 30 degrees. So this is the diagram that is representing what? This question that we have been asked. So let's give it some values again. So let's give this now the total height of this second one. Let's call it h2. Let's call it h2, which is 150 meters. Let's call this one h1. And then let's call this value. That means from this point to this point, let's call it x. Let's call it x. So now let me explain this again. We have two tower. Tower 1, this is the first tower and the second tower. And then the question told us that the horizontal distance between the two towers is 60 meter. 60 meter. And it went further and said that what? And the angular depression of the top of the first as seen from the top of the second. That means the angle of depression as seen what? From the top of the second. This is the second tower, which is 150 meter high. That means the second tower is 150 meter high. That is why we are, and the second tower is what we call h2, which is 150 meter high. So the angle of depression is what? Is 30 degrees. So find the height of the first. So that means we are looking for this height. Now, for us to get this height of this part of this h1, what we are going to do is, since we know the height of the second tower, we know our h2 to be 150 meters. For us to now get this h1, we are going to get the value of this x, which represents from this top, from the top of this tower, which is also the same top with, it shares the same top with h1, from this particular point up to the top of h2, we are going to, which we call x, we are going to look for x. By the time we get the value of x, now let's write our x is what? Is unknown. So by the time we get the value of x, for us to now get this h1, so our h1 will be equals to h2, which is the total, the height of second tower minus our x. Now let's come back to this diagram. If you look at this angle of depression, which is 30 degrees, you see that this 30 degrees is also the same thing as 30 degrees here. We call it alternate angle. Alternate angle. I mean, or we call it Z angle. Z angle. Look at it. If you have an angle here, theta, you have another angle here. So that means the angle here will also the same thing with the angle here. And that is what, because this place is forming a Z. Call it Z angle. So that means this place is also what? Is also 30 degrees. Now we've known the value of our h2 to be 150. So now let's calculate for x. So now we write, so calculating for x. So in calculating for x, the diagram for that x is this. This is our x. We have here to be 60 meters, and then we have this angle to be 30 degrees. So applying, when we apply, look at the SOHCAHTOA, we see that tan, when we look at it, tan theta is equals to opposite over adjacent. And we are looking for the opposite. We already know our adjacent to be 60, and then we know the angle. So let's put in our values. So tan 30 rather. So tan 30 is equals to our opposite is x over 60 meters. So by the time we make x the subject of the formula, which we are going to cross multiply to make x the subject of the formula, we are going to have our x is equals to tan 30 times 60 meters. Therefore, so our x is equals to, so our tan 30, so tan 30 will give us 0.5773 then times 60 meters. So let's multiply that. Let's multiply 0.5773 multiplied by 60. So that means our x will give us 34 34.644 meters. So we've gotten the value of our x, and with that we can easily get the value of our h1. That is what the question is asking us, that we should find the height of the first tower. So let's do that. So our h1 is equals to, so our h2 is given in the question already as 150. That will be 150 minus our x, 34.64. So 150 minus 34.64 will give us 115.36 meters, and that is the answer to this example. So that means from this question, the height of this particular tower is 115.36. So let me explain this again. So what the question is actually is that we have two towers, and initially they didn't even give us the height of the tower. The question did not even let us to know that the tower of different heights until we got to this second part of the question. It said the horizontal distance between two towers is 60 meters, which is this. That means we have two towers, 60 meters. It said, and the angular depression of the top. The reason I'm coming back again is that I know this part can be very confusing, and the angular depression of the top of the first, as seen from, pay attention to this keyword here, from the top of the second. That means the angle of depression is coming from the second tower, which is this. The second tower, which is this, is coming from the second tower, which is 150 meters. That means second tower is 150 meters, is 30 degrees. So the 30 degree belongs, the angle of the depression of 30 degrees from the second tower, not from the first tower. So I think that is where you might find confusing in this question. So find the height of the first. So this question that says find the height of the first tower is letting us to also understand that this and even with the diagram, is letting us understand that the second tower is longer than the first tower, and this is the diagram representing it, and here is the solution. So if you have any question whatsoever concerning this example, kindly leave them in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, kindly give it a thumbs up. If you are yet to subscribe to PA Academy, please kindly click on the subscribe button, and then I'll see you in the example 2, where we are going to be looking at another example. Thank you.